I lost $40,000 trading options in 2 days. No, it was not a week. It was not a month. It was not a year. Unfortunately, it took me only 2 days to lose $40,000. In this video, I want to explain the three huge mistakes that I made, how you can avoid them. And then at the end of the video, I'm going to give you a warning to look out for all these so-called experts on YouTube and Facebook. So I'm not promising you will get rich. However, by watching this video, I can promise that you can potentially avoid going broke like I did. So if you would, please consider subscribing and liking this video. I really appreciate it as I'm starting my YouTube journey, and let's get into it. I take you back to 2020, early summer into fall. The market is booming. Everyone is at home, working from home or quarantined. There are experts popping up everywhere showing results of making hundreds of thousands of dollars in a month. It seemed so easy. So guess what? I bought in. Here's what happened. They sold me alerts from their expert trader that in real time you can make the same trades and you would make this money. I will get into this in mistake number 3. So let me just tell you right now, $40,000 might not sound like a lot to you, or maybe it does. But to me, $40,000 was almost everything I had in my trading account. It was one of the dumbest things I could have done. It was over 70% of my trading portfolio, and it was gone in 2 days. I don't know if you can conceptualize what that feels like, but it feels horrible. It feels horrible. It took me over 2 years to recover from that loss, and it only took me 2 days to get into it. So for the sake of compound interest, please don't make these 3 mistakes. Here we go. Mistake number 1. I did not use play money first. What do I mean by play money? I mean fake money or practice money. Almost any brokerage you use will allow you to do play money or fake trades to practice doing options. I did 0 of these before I got into it, and it was a huge mistake. I cannot explain to you enough that I had no idea how options really worked, but I thought because I was following an expert that they could just lead and guide me and tell me what to do. Guess what? Even experts tell you you should study, and I didn't do that. I would have realized how quick I could lose money, but I didn't think about that. All I thought about was how fast could I gain money. And so that was my first mistake, big mistake. Please use fake money first. And when you get into real money, try one contract at a time. So this is not a video telling you about how options works and the details. That could be separate videos, but I am telling you, start with one contract, risk nothing more than $200, no matter how much money you have. You have to get used to how it works. Okay, mistake number 2. I risked way too much money on just a couple trades. As I said, the market was getting euphoric. I don't know if you were following the stock market in 2020, but coming out of, March, April, when it hit its lows, it was euphoric. Everything was going up. I mean, everything. I invested in Carnival Cruise Lines, didn't know much about it, but it just shot up and doubled in like 2 weeks. It was just crazy, the amount of stocks going up with no fundamentals. Well, I was newer to the market and I'm like, this must be normal. All these experts are making all this money. I mean, I could do this too. So basically, I got into options with no experience. I lost on some trades. I thought it was my fault. I thought that, it couldn't have been the expert's fault. It was my fault. So I started losing a couple trades. And so what happens, like when you're at the casino playing blackjack or playing roulette and you start to lose a couple hands or a couple games and you lose your money, guess what you want to do? Naturally, you want to try to win that money back, right? So if you put $100 on black at the casino and you lose it, my natural instinct, and I'm sure some of you, if not all of you, your natural instinct is like, man, I'm going to put 200 down. I'm going to win my money back. Okay. And so that can really apply to options because people kind of treat them almost, like gambling. And so I had lost a couple of my first trades and I was starting to get this thing build inside of me like, man, if I just go a little bigger, I can get it back. Or, okay, the next one has to hit because this one didn't hit. And so I started making even worse trades. I started putting more and more money. And so this is where I hit the 2-day window of where I lost all this money because I was on such a cold streak. And I'll tell you why in just a second. But I was on such a cold streak where I kept losing these trades. And I was like, man, what in the world is going on? And so I was like, man, I can just get it all back in these next couple of days. The market was ripping. I wasn't making any money. I was like, here it is. Here's my time. So I decided to go quite big on a couple of trades. And guess what? In 2 days, everything went south. The market didn't even get hit that hard. But when you're investing in options, if the stock you're in goes down just a couple percent, 2 to 3%, you can get absolutely wrecked if you're playing near-term call options. And I got wrecked. What happens, I don't know if you've ever lost a substantial amount of money, whether 40,000 to you is a lot or not. It was a ton to me, and it was almost all of my trading portfolio. Reality didn't set in for at least a couple days, if not a couple weeks. When I finally closed those trades, or the options just evaporated and expired, I was almost in denial. I was like, what did I just do? I don't believe that I just lost all that money. That must be some kind of joke. That might be a mistake. There's no way. You're telling me that money's gone? My portfolio went from like 70,000 or 60 something thousand to 21,000 or 22,000 pretty much overnight. And that was a really hard reality to swallow. And it took me a while to even want to make this video, because not a lot of people are telling you their biggest mistakes financially, which costs them so much money and almost bankrupt them. It's hard to talk about. However, you have to learn from it. So mistake number 2 was risking way too much on a few trades. And let me get into mistake number 3. I was trying to replicate an expert trader in real time. So the service I bought was called Raging Bull. I don't know if they're still around. And what they did was they promised all these crazy results from this trader. He would make 30 to 50% on every trade, and sometimes 100, 300, 500%. Okay, but this is the issue. And either you've experienced this, or I hope you can avoid it by listening to me. The issue is that the expert trader is going to place the trade, right? Well, sure, they might send you a real-time alert, but realistically, it's going to take them at least a minute, potentially 2 to 3 minutes, depending on the Wi-Fi and the service, for you to get that alert. Well, these traders are playing minute candlesticks. So maybe they buy right when the flashpoint hits, or when it's at the bottom, and they buy right then. Well, guess what? By the time you get the alert, and by the time you can place the trade, which could take another 1 to 2 to 3 minutes, you could have missed 20 to 40% of the entire gain of the trade. So what I was doing is I was getting the alert, and I would go in right away, and I would place the trade, and I'd be like, okay, I'm in. Well, he might have already been out by the time I got in. Literally, it was happening that fast. And since I didn't know much about options, I was like, okay, well, surely he's going to hold some of these overnight or a couple days or whatever. And it never happened. It was always day trading. So I was just getting so frustrated because I was losing a lot. I like to be good at things and learn them, and I was learning nothing, but I was not researching it either. It was completely my fault. And so the big mistake, and what I really want you to understand, is anybody promising you real-time alerts, it never works that way. It just doesn't. Unless you're watching a YouTube live with somebody, maybe. But what I'm telling you right now is nobody's going to hit 100% of their trades. So please beware of that. And really beware of people that promise real-time alerts, because it was a big mistake. It was probably my biggest mistake. Mistake number 3 was trying to trade in real time with these experts. I didn't know anything about it. And I missed so much of the initial gain. By the time I got in, it was going down, or he was already out. So those are the 3 big mistakes. I cannot stress to you enough how important it is to learn, research, and do fake money first. The thing that I want to leave you with, and that I want you to be aware of, is that there are more than ever YouTubers, people on Facebook, Instagram, claiming that they can make you an expert in trading options. They claim, hey, give me $300 a week. I'll give you my 2 best plays. You're guaranteed to make a bunch of money if you hit it right. Well, guess what? If you hit it right, it comes down to human emotion. And if you're not learning, taking your time, and practicing trades correctly, your human emotion will get the best of you. So I really beware of people that promise huge wins. Beware of people that say you can make a lot of money quick. Because guess what? If you can make a lot of money quick, you can also lose a lot of money quick. And that's what they're not telling you. So I hope this was somewhat helpful. I hope my huge, egregious mistakes serve as some kind of learning for you. I really encourage you to beware before you dive in to pay for anybody's program or anybody's offering, to really know what and understanding what they are trying to sell you. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Comment or share it with somebody if you would, and I hope to see you in the next one.